I'm ready for you.
E-Days and E-Girls gave us a chance to work with kids, many of them from rural communities outside of Boise. And for a lot of them, it was their first time really having an opportunity to participate in a kind of STEM activity. So for a lot of them, it was their first stab at engineering. And for some of us, like myself on our team, it was the first time getting to work with kids in this manner, like actually working one-on-one with them to guide them through a project like this. So in just a short time frame of about an hour, we worked with the kids to make a tool, and we gave them a shortened version of our own challenge. And we basically got to see them take an idea and put it together in an actual tool that they got to test out. And these tools ranged anywhere from something pretty simple like a ladle basically to some really ambitious projects, and we got to help the kids work through that and see it through. And it was just a really fun experience, and giving those kids the chance to participate in something scientific like that and let them see kind of what we do in research projects and in engineering projects was a lot of fun. And it was a challenge at times, especially to kind of help the kids learn that you can be creative in science, and that was fun.
Science Trek was an amazing opportunity to work with the Public Broadcasting Service here in Idaho, and we got to basically show them what we did at Microgravity. They came down here while we were building the tool at Boise State, and they filmed us making the tool, talking about the tool, and then when we went to NASA, they used some of the footage from the pool test as well.
There's a big handle. It has to fit those gloves of the astronauts. They're really bulky. It's like a hockey glove. And the next thing you'll see is there is a set of 3 boxes on a pulley system on a conveyor belt, and there's a very clear handle that you're supposed to grab, and that's how you advance the boxes. And when you squeeze the trigger, the boxes will open.
After we went to NASA and was able to test the tool there, we came back, and a couple months later, I got to be an expert at asteroids and answer questions that the kids had asked about asteroids and comets. And I did this with Professor Brian Jackson, who's also from Boise State, and we filmed it in front of the observatory on top of the education building.
Asteroids turn into comets.
Sometimes scientists have a hard time differentiating between what are comets and what are asteroids. Basically because comets contain ice and asteroids don't. And after many times around the sun, comets will start to lose their ice. So generally, I would say comets don't turn into asteroids, but sometimes there's a hard time to differentiate between which is which.
We got to field all kinds of questions like, what's the biggest asteroid? What's the longest tail? Did the asteroid wipe out the dinosaurs? And really just answer basic questions about asteroids. And it was a really fun way to get engaged and interact with the community.
Working with North Star Charter School was really an amazing opportunity where we got to go into a physical science classroom at a middle school level and work with a classroom teacher who was having some trouble incorporating some of the new next generation science standards, engineering standards into her classroom. So we worked with her to come in and build a lesson plan based around an engineering project where we took the project that NASA gave us to design a tool and shrunk it down a little bit and gave it to the students in the form of building a tool to collect a rock sample from the bottom of an unknown liquid. And it was really amazing what they came up with. We set some high standards for them, and we tried to incorporate a lot of 21st century skills that we know that they will need. So we put them in groups so they could work with in collaboration. We gave them a list of materials that they could use, but didn't give them any. Instead, we gave them a budget that they had to work from, and they had to purchase those materials that they thought they would need to use. This required a lot of critical thinking in their design process to build something that would stay within budget, but still be strong enough to live up to the guidelines that we'd given them. The teacher was really amazing to work with, and she helped us a lot as we designed these lesson plans to help these students really get the most out of this opportunity which we had with them. And I know I learned a lot from these kids as they would come up with these amazing ideas that I never would have thought of. And there were some simple things, but there were some that were amazingly complex and yet stayed under budget. And then at the end of the project, they got to present all of their design and some of the tests they ran to make sure that this would function. We got to be there for that presentation, and it was amazing to see what they came up with. The level of complexity that some of these ideas had was truly amazing.
For sure, and we had a few opportunities to really put ourselves out there. One of them, our Night at the Capitol, really stood out to me because up until that point, we had done most of our presentations to educators, but this time we were representing our school, the team, and the whole state at a national event that was held at the Boise Capitol, and that was an exciting opportunity to really put us out there to engineers from all over the nation.
For me, being an educator, I was always excited when we got to talk to students. And we had several opportunities, like when we talked to the Idaho Science and Aerospace Scholars, and we got to talk to them and share this amazing experience that we had, and then put out there, promoting STEM, promoting NASA programs, and say, this can be you. You can do these things. And, working with youth, I love it.
It was great for me because I was an ISS alum, so it was great to go back. I do remember our radio interview. It was KIDO, 7:30 in the morning. It was just me and John, and it was a way for us to represent what was going on here at Boise State. So cool research that's going on at Boise State. And I remember the interviewer asked me, "Does Boise State have strong ties with NASA?" And I was like, "Duh, yes."
Yeah.
And so it was really great not only to represent Boise State, but also to represent NASA and what's going on at Boise State. So definitely fun.
For sure, and also being able to represent that to other students. I really loved the research conference that we presented at, as well as the Mechanical Engineering Senior Showcase. And it was kind of surprising too, because so many students, like our peers, had no idea that this sort of stuff went on, and this was a chance to say, this is a NASA project that we're involved in. It's something that you can do too, and these are real things that are happening right here at our university. And being able to show that to other students here at Boise State for the first time, for me that was a lot of fun, because I thought that that was a great way to help our peers expand their horizons as well.
Awesome.